What's going on, everyone? Today we are taking a look at a new electric scooter. This is the GoTrax GX1. This is a full suspension scooter which also has dual motors as well. Taking a look at the scooter itself, this is definitely a very nice looking scooter. I love the overall design. The body lines look very aggressive and sporty, and it also has very nice LEDs here at the side. The sun is shining directly on it, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but in person it is a nice and bright blue LED. Alright, so diving into the specs, this has dual motors, 600 watts each for a total of 1200 watts. Looking at the brakes, we have dual mechanical disc brakes, so we have one in the back, one in the front, and then we also have a EABS brake as well. Looking at the tires, we have very beefy 10 by 3 inch tires. As you can see, we have a nice off-road tread on these as well. So overall, very fat tires, and definitely some of the biggest tires I've seen on a scooter in this class. Right here in the middle, we have a very large 8.78 inch deck, so lots of space here to move around your feet or even put both feet if you wanted to as well. And under this, powering the scooter, we have a 48 volt 15 amp hour battery. As I said earlier, this is a dual suspension scooter, and this suspension definitely looks very beefy. So up here in front, you have these two springs, and then coming around back, you have another spring right here for the rear tire. This is a off-road scooter, so I'm assuming it's going to be more on the firm side, but we'll test that out in a little bit when we take it for a ride. Alright, so I moved the scooter over to some shade so we can check out the lights. So right here in front we have a built-in headlight, and this does look like it should have a good amount of brightness as well. You have a blue accent light right here in the front. You have two more blue accent lights here at the side, so one on each side. And then coming to the back, you have a tail light, which also blinks when you brake as well. Coming up to the bars, you have your thumb throttle, your controller on this side, a built-in bell, and then you have a color screen here in the middle, which is nice and bright. In the center, you have your miles per hour, your speed at the side. These wheels are basically a normal and fast mode, so if it's blinking, that's fast. If it's not blinking, that's normal. And then right here in the middle, you have your battery life. Honestly, I'm not really a fan of this image here, as I would much rather have a percentage or a battery voltage instead. When it comes to folding the scooter, you have a big latch right here, and in the middle you have a safety latch. So you want to release that, pull on the big latch, and then that'll let you fold this down here. Right down here you have this little latch here, and that simply goes inside this hole, and just like that it latches on, and you can now carry and lift away the scooter. It's not the lightest scooter, as it does weigh 73 pounds, but overall still very manageable to lift and carry around. Oh man, it is extremely hot out here today, almost 100 degrees, very humid as well. It's supposed to be raining the rest of the week, so I guess I just gotta make it work. Off the bat, I can already feel this is a very torquey scooter. Even on the lowest mode, which is M, I'm not sure what it stands for. It has M, D, and S. I know D gotta be drive, S sport. I don't know what M is, but even on the slowest M mode, ooh, this thing just flies. Right about 8 miles all the way up to 15, which is where the M tops out at. It's a whole lot of torque. You just feel that surge, that initial rush. And that's not something you can get with a single motor scooter. If you have maybe a 4,000 watt scooter, then maybe, but all day, equal wattages, dual motor is always going to be a lot more fun and more torquey compared to a single motor. This does have built-in cruise control, but it's disabled by default. I don't remember the exact instructions, but it is in the manual. I think it was like hold down the negative for 10 seconds or something like that, and it'll beep. I'm not 100% sure if that was the button, but if you want to do that, just look at the manual, and it is right there in one of the pages. As far as comfort goes, this is definitely a very comfortable scooter. I'm 5'10", and these bars to me feel the perfect height. I've had other scooters where the bars felt too high and other ones were too low, but this is just the right height for me to give you a nice and comfortable stance. Judging by the appearance of the suspension, I thought it was going to be more on the firm side, but this feels like a nice and balanced suspension. Running over some bumps in the road here, it soaks them all up. I've tested some other off-road scooters where that suspension is just so tight, where for regular road usage, it barely does anything because it's more tuned to, make jumps and ride on very rough terrain. But this feels like a very good balance. It has a nice springy bounce to it. Brakes so far feel nice and smooth. As I said earlier, this does have a front and back disc brake along with the EBS, and it all seems to work together very smoothly. One thing I hate on scooters is when the brake is so sensitive, you barely tap on it and you feel like it wants to throw you over the bars. But this one feels like it has a good amount of modulation. Yeah, so far this feels like a very smooth scooter. I love how smooth the acceleration is. It's torquey, but from 0 to 8, it's like a slow, kind of smooth wind up. And then once you go past 8, that's where it kind of kicks in and starts to really take off. Another good thing I like on this scooter that you don't see too often is it has a total of 6 driving modes. So you have M, D, and S. But besides that, you also have this little button here that has 2 wheels on it, little scooter image. If you click that, you see right here on the screen, the wheels start to blink. And that's where it goes into the quicker mode of the scooter. So basically you can use that in combination with whatever mode you want. You have 3 sets of slower torque, which honestly is not slow at all, lots of torque still. And then you have the very torquey mode when you click on those wheels. Oh my God. Oh my God. Once you turn those on, this scooter feels like an absolute beast already on M and low mode. But once you click that button with the blinky wheels, this thing just pulls. I'm pretty sure you could ride this up the steepest hill and it's gonna pull you along no problem at all. You're gonna be very hard pressed to make this scooter struggle. I don't have many hills in my area, so I can't test that out. But feeling how torquey this is right now, no doubt this is gonna make it up any hill, no problem. All right, let me turn off those blinky wheels for a second. A little too aggressive for random street driving. Speed definitely picks up a lot more when you switch into that drive mode as well. Let's go ahead and test that out. Let me go ahead and find a longer strip that doesn't have stop signs. You know what, we can probably test it here. All right, so I felt it let off right there at 21 miles per hour. So if you're on that D mode or drive, that's when it's gonna stop at 21. Yeah, stops right there at 21. And this feels like a legit 21 as well. I don't have my phone with me to GPS verify it, but this is definitely flying. One thing with scooters, it's not so much about the top speed. I think the fun factor with scooters comes from the torque. If it's a very slow climb from 0 to 20, it doesn't feel that fast. But if you have a quick pull and acceleration from that 0 to 20, it just feels like you're going a whole lot quicker. This is where I usually do my speed test at, but as you can see, they installed a speed bump. So maybe they saw me speeding over here and decided to tell me to knock that off, but we'll just go around that. Let's go ahead into sport mode. I've said this in many other videos before, but one thing to keep in mind is 20 on a scooter does not feel the same as 20 on an e-bike. For me, 20 on an e-bike feels very chill, doesn't feel fast at all, but when you're standing up and you're riding on this little stick on the ground, 20 feels a lot quicker. Ooh, man. It's crazy how much faster things feel on a scooter compared to an e-bike. I was only going 25 right now, but if that odometer was off and you asked me how fast I was going, it felt like I was going 35 to 40. All right, clear strip here. 26. 28. 29. 30 miles per hour. Yeah, this scooter is 100% staying in my rotation. I switch out scooters every now and then, and I kind of have a faster scooter, a not so fast scooter, and then like a slower 12, 13 miles per hour one, just so I can easily lift it and put it into my trunk. But this is definitely becoming my new fast scooter. I don't need to go 40 miles per hour or anything like that. For me, 30 miles per hour is plenty. I have another dual motor scooter that goes about the same 30, but this just feels so much better and so much more refined. The suspension, the steering, the overall feel of it, the acceleration, this is just a very, very well done scooter. One thing I'll say, and hopefully a lot of you know better, but sometimes people just see a deal and they get kind of blindsided by that. Do not go with the cheapest scooter you can find. There is a big difference between a $600 1,000 watt scooter to a $1,200 1,000 watt scooter. Typically with the low end scooter, they just slap in a battery, slap in a motor. They do no tuning whatsoever. It's just parts slapped on a bike and you just get what you get. You get it, and it might go quick, it might perform pretty good, but it's just going to be very unrefined, and that just adds to a much more janky and not as enjoyable ride. But when you have a scooter like this one that's well tuned, it's just so much more fun, and it just feels a lot better to ride. I had a scooter that I sold off a few months ago. It was quick, but it just felt so janky. I didn't feel safe on it. But yeah, I definitely have a good sense of security on this one. Brakes are new, so they're still pretty squeaky. Typically after you ride for a few miles, they'll break in and that'll stop. Lots of stopping power. Able to lock up those tires and skid, no problem at all. As I said, very squeaky right now. I think it's actually the front brake that's doing that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure once I ride it for a good 20 miles or so, maybe even less, that'll go away. But as you can see right now, very, very loud screech. Let me go ahead and test this on sport mode along with the blinking tires. Turbo mode. Oh my God. That is just insane. Now I totally get why a lot of these guys like to ride these scooters that go 40, 50 miles per hour, because that rush that you get from 0 to 30, that's just really something else. When I didn't have it on the blinky tire mode, it climbed up to that 30, but it took a while. But now that I have it on that blinky tire mode, it just hauled the entire way. There was no struggle. It just pulled. As you can see right now, I'm already going 23, 25, 26. Ooh, man. I'm sure I could have easily gone 30 there, but I didn't want to blow the stop sign. Oh my God, this scooter is so much fun. I'm usually not that much of a fan of fast scooters, but when you throw in that torque, that's a whole other beast. 30, so it took maybe 7 to 8 houses to go that 30 miles per hour. And the thing is, when you reach 30, it's not like a struggling, barely reaching 30 kind of 30. It still feels like it has a lot of punch left. I couldn't figure out a way to unlock it past that, but if there was a way to unlock this scooter, I'm more than certain it should be able to go 36, maybe 38, because it does not feel like it's running out of power at 30. Oh my God. Even going very quick right now, I just skidded that tire. So hands down, when it comes to mechanical brakes, these are some of the best I've tried as well. Mechanical brakes on scooters are really a hit and miss. You don't know where you're gonna get. Hydraulic brakes, you usually know 100%. Well, not 100%, but usually around 80% of the time, it's gonna be a very good brake. Mechanical brakes are always a toss-up, but this feels very similar and just as good to an hydraulic brake. Yeah, you have a little more pressure you gotta use on the handles, but yeah, once again, this is by far the best mechanical brakes I've tried on a scooter so far. When it comes to range, on their website, they say this scooter has a 26-mile range, which was very surprising for me to see. So many scooter companies just throw out a random number. It'll have like a 5 amp hour battery, and they'll say, yeah, this scooter is gonna get 80 miles, and it's just nonsense marketing. But 26, that is a very honest answer. You should be able to ride a decent, enjoyable speed on this scooter and reach that 26 miles as well. If you're going much slower, then you'll definitely get more than that. And then of course, if you're going top speed and flying the entire time, you're gonna get a lot less. But yeah, it's definitely good to see a company be a little more honest with their specifications for once. This scooter was rated to go 30. It goes to 30, no problem at all. And then like I said, I do believe this scooter should reach that range as well. Overall, this is definitely hands down one of the best scooters I've reviewed this year. I think this is the perfect scooter for someone that wants to go quick, but they don't want to go into super scooter territory. Honestly, I have no interest in going 40 to 60 miles per hour on a scooter. I want to live. I don't want to die and crash and get knocked off my scooter at those speeds. 30 is still very risky, but to me, that's manageable. But yeah, once again, this scooter definitely feels very well made. Everything about it works great. The brakes, the acceleration, the speed. I honestly have no complaints about this scooter at all. So yeah, 100%, if you're looking for a scooter around this price with these kind of specifications, I would definitely recommend this one here, which again is the GoTrax GX1. All right, well, that about wraps up this video. As usual, if you have any questions at all, feel free to drop me a comment and let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.